Hey, what's going on, everyone? Manny back again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I have a new video for you guys today. We're going to discuss today's 11-game slate in the association. But before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, have not seen any of my videos before, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the community, get access to the videos, is to become a subscriber down below. So if you haven't done so already, before you do go, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any of my NBA videos. With that being said, today is November the 25th, 2019. It is Monday. We have a large 11-gamer, man. And like I said before, tips again, 11-game slates, couple core lines you're going to definitely need, at least in my opinion. Me being GPP player, that's what I normally do. And other than that, today you could definitely play cash games as well as GPP games. Okay, so don't worry about that at all. A little bit of news. Obviously, tomorrow is a two-game slate. Two-game slates. I'm not going to do a video. I mean, surprisingly, we've had a number of two-game slates as of late for the NBA, which is really uncommon. And then also Thursday is Thanksgiving. There's no games on Thanksgiving, so there's no video for Thursday as well. So 2 days this week with no videos here at DFS Zone. Those of you that are part of my Patreon page, you guys will still get access to your content there tomorrow. So tomorrow, even though it's a two-game, I will have some information for you so you can make your decisions on your plays tomorrow. But of course, Thursday, there's nothing there. In this channel, also, if you're first time here, I give that player pool that I offer on my Patreon page, as well as other things there. I got another tier of stuff that I do there as well. Other than the player pool, I do hand out that same player pool on a weekly basis here as a giveaway. So if you want to be eligible for the giveaway, the only thing you need to do is obviously like the video, comment down below anything regarding the slate, and of course be a subscriber to the channel. And as long as all those three things are met during the course of the week, I will pull one of you guys out at the end of the week, and the winner will have that player pool that everybody else is able to get. Now, if you want to have access to that player pool right off the bat, you can definitely go down to patreon.com. Go to the link in the description of my videos down below. Go down there, take a peek. I got 2 tiers right there, and I got some other things in the works that I'm working on to be able to offer to you guys as part of those tiers. Okay, today's winner, this week's winner, unfortunately, you're going to have 2 days. You're not going to have none. I pulled somebody out early this morning, and actually it's somebody that's been with me for a while already. I think I've never actually ever given him anything away, and that's Sir Dave, man. Sir Dave, my friend, the Cleveland Brown fan. Hit me up on Twitter or on Instagram or something like that if you want the player pool. I know you play regularly, and I know you don't play much on Fanduel, but the player pool is good for Yahoo, and some of the plays will be good for DraftKings as well in Fanduel. So hit me up there, and my socials are down below. Hit me up, and I'll send that over to you for the next couple of days. Okay, other than the 2 days that there's not going to be anything going on. All right. That is pretty much it, man. So that's basically the news. Let's get right to it. So today I'm going to try to change the format a little bit. I want to share a little bit on FanDuel, a little bit on DK, and show them on the screen. So this way, those who play DraftKings get an idea of more or less where I'm looking at there. Even though I always tell you which players I do like, and of course what platforms I would play them in. It's probably sometimes also good to have a visual. So we on FanDuel right now. So on FanDuel, my FanDuel pick at point guard today is not going to be the same pick on DK because of price and because of the matchups. There is because of the pricing on DK. Obviously, those players that I'm gearing myself to are going to be slightly different on DK because there are some advantages there with the prices. But over here at the top, man, we got the top dog, Trae Young, and I'm going to just speak about Trae Young because that's where I'm at. I do think Lillard is an option, and I do believe you can come down. Chris Paul, I think, is someone that I have in my radar as well as Marcus Smart, who's now point guard eligible here. And then, but I'm going to just basically talk about Trae Young so we can just get right to it. So Trae Young at the top, man, I've been on him about 3 times already this year. 2 times he has let me down. 1 time he came through. I do believe he's going to bounce back here. He's going to come through again. He did have a fabulous game in his last game out. As you can see, played 41 minutes, put up a triple-double, 30, 10, and 10, 57 spot. But we know what this guy does, man. This guy is the most important aspect, the offensive weapon of choice for the Atlanta Hawks. He's going to have the highest usage. He's going to have the 30 minutes or more on the floor, and on top of that, he's going to take an abundance of shots. And of course, those three things are key little basic information that you definitely need when you're making choices for players. So at 31 plus minutes a game, he's coming off the triple double. And, he has 46. As you can see, he put up a 57. He has 60-point upside, which is obviously something that we're looking at here at for him today, being over 40 somewhat fantasy points. He can definitely do that here. He's shooting 43% from the floor, 35% from three, 82% from the foul line. If his shots go down consistently, he'll be able to put up huge numbers. In those cases, in these games where he put only 35 and 26 fantasy points, they were poor shooting games, and then, of course, didn't have a lot of peripherals. And we know he can definitely get you some steals, and that's some added bonus. He is taking, his usage rate is still very high, almost 30% at 29.25, taking 22 to 23 shots a game. Over the last 4 games, he's been taking a little bit more shots, and his shooting from three is 7 to 8, also taking 7 to 8 threes from the floor as well. So he's taking over 30 shots a game, shooting at that rate of 43-35. Going up versus Minnesota, they're 21st in defending point guards, and they've been allowing 29.4 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. They did give up in back-to-back games 38 and 30 respectively to Connolly, and then 60 to James Harden. That was over the last 4 or 5 games, those 3 games. All right, so I think he's a valid play there among the other ones that I spoke. And we're going to go over to DK. And on DK, my point guard, he's just too cheap, even though he's coming back from injury, and that is Mr. Malcolm Brogdon. You can't pass up Malcolm Brogdon here. He says he's 100% healthy. There hasn't been no news that he's going to be on a minutes restriction or anything like that. He is at home, which is an added bonus. He's in a favorable matchup against a team that really struggled against point guards in the young rookie Morant. Brogdon should be able to smash this $6,000 price tag, where you just basically need about 30 for him to meet value. And as you can see, he's averaging 40 DK points here. So I think Brogdon is a solid play here, man. It's flat out just too cheap. He has 50-point upside. He's playing 31 plus minutes a game, as you can see here, shooting 46 and 31 from the floor, not from 31% pretty much from three, which is not that good, but his free throw percentage is 98%, and he has assists. He can get you assists, and he can get you, of course, some steals. His usage rate is a bit lower. It's going to be a little bit lower, obviously, now because he's back playing, and then you have Domantas Sabonis and Jeremy Lamb both playing, and Lamb being back from being injured is definitely going to hurt him a little bit. But I still think for this price tag compared to $8,500 on Fanduel, that's $2,500 cheaper. They must have made this has to be like a typo or something like that. But bottom line, we'll take it on DK, man. $6,000 for Malcolm Brogdon. You cannot pass him up with that usage rate being at 24%, taking 18 and 19 shots a game and shooting 46% from the floor, 31% from three, 98% from the free throw line. And, of course, he can get you some steals. I think he's someone you got to consider there. We go over back to Fanduel as shooting guard. A shooting guard at the top, you got Jimmy Butler, which I do like, but I like Jimmy Butler on DK. So he's my DK play, but we'll get back to him in a moment. Over here on FanDuel, I'm going to come down to somebody that has had no choice but to step up, and that's Evan Fournier, 5,900 for Orlando. And Fournier, ever since Vucevic went down, and then, of course, Gordon went down, him and Jonathan Isaac, as well as Terrence Ross, a few others, have had to step up. But Fournier has been the top dog. He has had the highest usage rate go up with those two guys out. And then, of course, Jonathan Isaac is a major contributor offensively for Orlando right now. But Evan Fournier, you got to consider him here. He's 5,900, man, on FanDuel. 5,900, he's 6,400 on DK. I do think that you can play him on DK, even though he's about $500-$600 more expensive. He's averaging 28 fantasy points. Look at the minutes, man. He's been playing 33-plus minutes over the last 6 out of the last, 7 games. And he's been pretty steady and consistent. 33, 33, 36, 36, 39. He's been as high as 41, so he has a little bit of upside. For that price tag, you need 29, and he's averaging 28, and he's been really been playing and scoring above the 29 fantasy point total over the last 6 out of the last 7 games. I think he is definitely an excellent player. With those two guys that I said out, his usage rate has bumped up from 23% all the way to 29%. Okay, with those two guys off the floor, he's shooting 48% from the floor, 45% from three, and he's a pretty good free throw shooter at 83%. He can get you the occasional steal, as you can see here. He got some steals in some of the other games, and of course, he's more of a scorer, but he's had to take more shots. He's been taking in the last 3 games, taking 23 shots from the floor and taking 10 shots from three. Okay, last 4 games on average. Overall, he's been taking 23 shots, and in the last 4 games, he's taken 15 to 16 from the floor and 7 to 8 threes per game. So, again, it's just the usage minutes. You take advantage of those situations when the price is right. He's going up against Detroit. Detroit is 21st in defending shooting guards, allowing 29.3 fantasy points per game. They did give up nearly 47 to Bembry, 38 to Devontae Graham over the last 3 games. Those two guys have buried them for that much. I think Evan Fournier is definitely someone to consider here today, okay? And then we go over to DK, and on DK, I like Jimmy B here at 7,700. He is just too cheap at 7,700. 7,700, you only need about 37. He's averaging 42 DK points. So Jimmy Butler is in play for me. Too cheap, 33 minutes per game, has put up 48 plus in 4 out of the last 5 games, and he has 50-point upside. You can't pass up Jimmy Butler. I think he's just someone that you got to consider. He's got to be on your list. Do you put him in and lock him in as a core? Not necessarily so. You don't have to. But for the sake of this video and for what I see right now off the top, I think that's just a little too cheap for him. 7,700, and he is 30-somewhat hundred. He's like 3,600 on Fanduel. He is... 9,600, 9,600 on Fanduel. So, that's a big difference. You're talking about almost $1,900 cheaper. So, Jimmy Butler in play as well. Last 4 games, his usage rate is at 25%. He's taking 14 to as much as 16 shots a game. 11 to 12. He's actually been getting to the free throw line. And 2 out of the last 3 games, he's been on the free throw line for at least 11 or 12 free throws. So, he has been very aggressive, in getting his opponents to foul him. And he's a good defender, man. You're going to get some steals and blocks from Jimmy B. So I think Jimmy Butler definitely in play, man. He's going up against Charlotte. They're 22nd defending shooting guards. They've been allowing 33.7 fantasy points per game. And over the last 2 games, they've given up 53 fantasy points per game for a big 28% jump. They gave a 52.8 to Zach LaVine, pretty much a 53 spot. In the game prior to that, they gave Bradley Beal 53 as well. So Jimmy Butler should be in line to at least crush that $3,700 price, 37 fantasy points that you need here to meet value. So we go over to small forward. At small forward, I'm staying with the Orlando team, and I'm going to go with Jonathan Isaac. He's 7,000 here. He is 7,900 on DK, so he's definitely priced up a little too much on DK for me. But a 7,000 here for what he has had to do with Fournier over the last few games while Gordon and Vucevic has been out. Jonathan Isaac is in play here. 7,000 in the last 2 games. He's had a 47 plus, so he's definitely jumped. That has crushed his 36 fantasy points per game average. 7,000, you need 35. He's playing 29 plus minutes. He had a 25-9, 1, 2, and 4. You know what you're going to get from Jonathan Isaac. You're not going to only get scoring from him, but he can get you rebounds, and he can get you a lot of defensive peripherals with steals and blocks. 5 blocks and 5 steals over the last 2 games, and that's obviously because they had he has to take up a big workload. Fournier more with the shooting, him more with the defense. But going up, man, right now his usage rate is up to 25% with Vooch and Gordon out. He and Fournier are the 2 key guys offensively, looking at all the numbers. Going up against Detroit, 21st. Okay, 21st. Before that, his shooting right now at the floor, from the floor, 50% from the floor. He's shooting lovely from the floor. His 3-point percentage shot is not too bad at 37%. Of course, he's a pretty good free throw shooter as well at 84%. And as you know, he brings the defense. He's going to get you some blocks. He's averaging 2 blocks a game and almost a steal and a half a game. And I believe it, just looking at the 5 and 5 here, as you can see in the last 2 games. Again, going up against Detroit. Detroit is 21st defending small forwards, allowing 28.5 fantasy points per game. Harrison put up 45, and Jimmy B put up 49 over the last 5 games. Those are the biggest 2 numbers they've given up to players. So I do like for Isaac here. And You could say the same here. You could go a small forward over here. That could very easily be for DK. Could be very easily Evan Fournier. So let's actually pencil him in here. Okay. Then at power forward at the top, I'm not going to discuss Fournier again because we already did. Then at power forward for FanDuel, I do like Bam Adebayo, 8,800, going up against Charlotte. Charlotte, one of the worst teams rebounding other than the Chicago Bulls as far as in the front court. So, I mean, they have had their trouble in the front court as far as rebounding is concerned. Adebayo is just a physical animal up front. But Adebayo, 8,800, you need about 43, 44 to me value. He's playing about 31 plus minutes. 6 out of his last 8 games, he's been pretty much at 35 fantasy points or better. And as you can see, he has 50-point upside. He's done it twice over that span. And, he's had the double-doubles. He's 1, 2, 3, 4 double-doubles over that span. Make it 5 double-doubles out of the last 7, 8 games. His usage rate, he's shooting 60% from the floor. His usage rate is at 19, 20%. He's taking 8 or 9 shots. We don't expect a lot of shots from Bam, but what we want from him is the defense. We want the peripherals. He gets you steals and blocks, and that's important for a big man. And he's also in a matchup where it should be favorable for him as far as getting rebounds and actually getting, those additional fantasy point totals. He's going up against Charlotte. They're 30th in defending centers, and they have been allowing 36.9, nearly 37. You could round it off to 37 fantasy points to opposing centers. Carter Jr. of Chicago put up 44. Thomas Bryant, 37. Jared Allen of the Brooklyn Nets put up 46. This in the last 3 games in a row. And now they got to go and deal with Bam. So I do like Bam here a lot. His price is even better on DK, and I like him on DK as a center. Throw him in there as like the 4th guy. He's definitely in play there for me as well. And other than that, I mean, on power forward, other than Bam Adebayo, I would have some interest to Jason Tatum. If Kevin Love doesn't play, I will definitely have some exposure to Larry Nance Jr., and I do like Larry Nance Jr. also on DK, and that's only if Kevin Love is out. If he's in, I might be a little bit more in tune to go to having a little bit of Kevin Love in some of my lineups. So that's where I stand there. We go over to center. And at power forward over here, like I said, you can go with Bam. You can go with what I really like. What I would like to see here on DK is Draymond Green being eligible and playing, and not knowing that he has any restrictions. I would like him a whole lot as the small forward here, and then moving power forward to someone else like Tatum, and then maybe possibly using Bam as a center. But I'm gonna go with 2 big guys over here. I'm gonna go right to center, and at center, like I said, Bam Adebayo I already spoke about, but I'm gonna go with another big man here for the center spot, and I do like Whiteside. I do like Whiteside today. It says game time decision here, but the last I heard is that he is probable of playing, and I think this is just an excellent matchup. Again, just like I just finished saying, Chicago and Charlotte are 2 of the weaker teams up front as far as rebounding is concerned against opponent rebounding, and Whiteside is just a rebounding monster, and on top of that, he is just another guy like Bam that could get you a lot of peripherals with blocks especially. So I would like to fill up my front court today with guys like that. At 8,100, I mean, Whiteside's definitely playing. Now, granted, I do like Karl Anthony Towns. I will have some exposure to him, and I do like Tristan Thompson if there's no Love, and I do like some Miles Turner, but I know that's going to hurt a little bit with Brogdon back and Jeremy Lamb back, and of course Sabonis all working, all playing and healthy. But I think Tristan Thompson will be great if there's no Love, and then of course I do like Mr. Towns. But at center, like I said, Whiteside in play for me. And Whiteside, man, I mean, granted, he's been in a little bit of a downturn. He had those 2 games where he's been injured. He's coming back. He did have 2 games under 30 fantasy point totals, but he's a great point per minute. He's like a 1.2, 1.3 point per minute player, pretty much on average if he gets the minutes. If you give him 30 minutes, he can get you 40 fantasy points or more. And as you can see, 35 here, 43, 35 here, 43, 34 minutes here, 44. I mean, and he could be even on lower minutes, but we would like to see him at 28 to 30 or 30 plus, and that'll be just absolutely awesome for him. Last 2 games, so again right there, but as you can see, he's been as low as 29, but he's been as high as 45, 47, so he has a nice little ceiling there, and we know he has 50-point upside from previous years. He's shooting 58% from the floor, 79% from the free throw line, and like I said, what we want from him is basically more of the rebounding. He could definitely score. He's a little bit better than Bam as far as the scoring is concerned, but he could definitely get you the rebounds, and of course the peripherals. Give me some steals, give me some blocks, and if he can do that, he'll definitely be able to smash this $8,100 price tag, which I believe he can. On DK, he's in play for me as well. On DK, he'll be the 5th guy there because I'm not too certain what's going to happen with Draymond Green and so on, and then I will probably change these guys around, but right now I like Fournier there, I like Bam, and then over here you will have to consider, I'm going to put him on there, Whiteside 6,100. I just can't pass his price tag up, so I could see myself having these 5 guys here on DK and then building around those guys, as one line. There are a couple of guys that I do like, and I might flip that around. Like I said, I'll probably have two core lines. So Whiteside is good for both sites. I love his price tag on DK at 6,100. You're only needing 30 there, so he should definitely crush there. But 18% usage rate, 8 to 9 shots on average he's taking. He's going up against Chicago. They're 23rd defending centers, and like I said, they're near the bottom of the league as far as rebounding. As a rebounding team, so this is definitely an opportunity for Whiteside to get crazy. They've been allowing 34.5 fantasy points per game. Drummond put up 41 on them, 35 by Jared Allen, 32 by Taj Gibson, 54 by Capella. All these games were within the last 6 games. So I think Whiteside is in a good spot here to get you the 40 or more here on Fanduel, and I think he's definitely an excellent play on DK for that 30 or more that you need there. And that's pretty much it, guys. That is basically it. Again, if you want to be a part of the weekly pool, the only thing you have to do is like the video, comment down below, and make sure you're a subscriber. Other than that, if you want to come down to the Patreon page down below, I got some other things coming up soon that I'm going to be adding, hopefully by the beginning of next month, because it's on a monthly subscription for Patreon. But if you're not a patron already, come down, take a look at the tiers, and very reasonable price, and sign up and become a member there. All right. Other than that, man, I wish you guys a lot of luck, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Actually, no video tomorrow. Sorry. We'll be back on Wednesday. Wednesday will be the next NBA video here on DFS.